For music, radio, and podcasts all in one.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Just call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Drive Time. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back in the saddle once again to the show that shakes the Southland. Clemson Sports Talk for you, and it is a peeking over the fence Tuesday. First off, we don't peek over our fence. We let the Gamecocks peek over our fence as John Blau from the Charleston Post and Courier joins us. And then in hour number 2, we peek over the fence in the backyard of Gamecock Nation as Mike Uva from Gamecock Central joins of the season. And then there's this other side of me that feels like the spaceship can't even get off the ground, and I'm not sure if it's ever going to get off the ground. So I too kind of go back and forth watching it, because you can see if they play, I think what the coaches tend to call complementary football, all around, the offense supporting the defense, defense supporting the offense, they could be one of the top teams in the country. But you're just not getting that at this point in the season, which I think begins to build more and more frustration. Now, as they turn their attention, you mentioned the Pitt Panthers and Pat Narduzzi. I truly appreciate any opportunity I've had to sit down with him. I think he's a smart football coach, one of the wisest coaches maybe in the ACC. But, I mean, they've had a heck of a start to the year. Nobody's denying that fact. But is their resume worth calling into question at this point? Just again, the win over Tennessee, I get it. It was what it was. But is their resume up to the standard where you would say unequivocally, yep, this is a great football team?
Yeah, I mean, that is a question at this point, because, yeah, I mean, they lost to Western Michigan, I mean, earlier in the year. I mean, that's a kind of a little bit of a red flag there, 44-41 to Western Michigan. At the same time, it's just not a great matchup for Clemson, just because what, Pittsburgh does so well is score points. And they're doing it consistently. It doesn't really matter who you're doing it against. If you're doing it consistently, I mean, that shows you that they're really good at that phase. I mean, 51 points against UMass, 41 against Tennessee, 41 against Western Michigan, even in that loss, 77 against New Hampshire, and 52 against Georgia Tech. I mean, Clemson got 14 against Georgia Tech.
That's the one.
Up 52.
Yeah.
That's the one where you got the crossover. And again, Virginia Tech, we think, has a pretty good defense. I mean, they're maybe not all around a great team this year, but defensively pretty good. They're able to get 28 points, which is something that Clemson has not been able to do against a good team thus far. So it's just really, it's not that Pittsburgh isn't unbeatable. It's that it's not a great matchup for the way Clemson is playing right now. I mean, if Clemson is able to, again, get to the point where, they're scoring 31 points on a Pittsburgh defense, you can feel much better about it. But right now, I mean, they're going up to Syracuse. Again, that's a Syracuse team that's been putting a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, ranked nationally pretty high in terms of sacks. But it's still not a team, Wake Forest was able to put 40 on them the week before, and you're just squeaking out 17. And so it's just the matchup, I think, that's more concerning. But yeah, is Pittsburgh beatable? Absolutely. The resume doesn't say that they are, kind of a juggernaut or anything. But at the same time, just the matchup, I think, is what's concerning.
John Blau with us here on the program. John, we got to figure out like a catchy way to get your Twitter handle out there, because it's John with no H, and Blau, we can get the rhymes with Pal, but BLAU. So JON_BLAU. Did I do it right?
You did, yeah. I mean, it's confusing. I got my credentials in Pittsburgh today, and it was JOHN and then Blau. I mean, people make mistakes all the time. But yeah, you just got to go searching around. I think I got my header or whatever is Johnny 5 from the movie Short Circuit a long time ago. I just like that.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's me. So if you're looking
Great
for me, you found the right one. If you saw Johnny 5,
I am digging a tunnel with Oscar. I'm a Short Circuit 2 kind of guy as well. All right, yeah. John, let me ask you this a hypothetical, because it's bothered me really all week. Had Clemson not lost in double overtime at NC State, they would have a singular loss to the number 1 ranked team in the country in a game where they didn't give up a touchdown, and they got beat off a defensive pick 6. They were 9th when they lost. Like, as bad as this thing has been, if you flip that game, if you hypothetically flip it, where's this team right now? Are they a top 5 team in the country, even given what we've watched? Like, that is – you want to talk about a riddle encapsulated into an enigma. I can't even answer that question.
Yeah, no, Brent Venables brought that up today, and that was interesting. He said, guys, we're 4-2. Also, it's like, what other team out there in the country doesn't have issues? Like, is that much better than us? I mean, we lost to the number 1 team in the country by a pick 6. how bad are we really? Point to a team that's that much better than us. It's like, you can't name them, can you? Which, I mean, you probably maybe say Oklahoma. You could say, again, Georgia beat you, so they're up there too. But yeah,
Right.
If you look at the top 10, I mean, Michigan State, or would they be ranked below Michigan State or Oklahoma State? I'm not sure. I mean, they could possibly still be a top 10 team. Probably no worse than 12 or 13 around where Ole Miss is, above Coastal Carolina at 14. Yeah, no, absolutely. If you're able to pull that game out in overtime, you haven't looked pretty, and you probably get dinged for that because you just are looking like you're barely able to win these games. But you're still probably in the top 15, maybe even in the top 10. And so yeah, it is kind of, everybody, is overreacting just because of the way it looks, which I don't know if it's overreacting, but it's reacting with more fervor, let's say, in terms of how it's all going down because of the way it looks and the way it feels to watch it. I'm sure if you're a Clemson fan, just eking out points is just so difficult to watch.
Yeah,
but again, yeah.
If these games were 45-42, right? If they were high scoring victories and you're just barely winning, I think the feeling is completely different.
Right. It's a lack of execution because I think everybody is again undervaluing defense. At the same time, they're watching all these other college football games, and the way that most college football is across the country and has been for the last however many years is just scoring points, and you have to be making a ton of mistakes to win 17-14. You're watching too many mistakes. You're watching guys miss blocks. You're watching DJ just like misfire by about 15 feet. Like, I understand why that's frustrating because it's not what you're watching elsewhere, and there's a lot of mistakes to get you to where you're getting in these 17-14 games. It's not like you're just looking across the line of scrimmage and Syracuse is this dominant defensive team that it's going to be like that, and they're going to give you these tight windows, and receivers be getting blasted as soon as they get the ball, and it's that kind of thing. It's the opposite. It's there's space, there's plays to be made, but they're not making them, and that's why I think it's the undervaluing of defense because the offenses just look so bad at times, and so I kind of get that. I mean, I understand the opposite of it, but I also think I get why people are frustrated.
John, my man, always great to have you on the show.
You too. Thanks a lot.
We'll hit a quick break. We'll come back with more of the People Show. That is the show that shakes the Southland, Clemson Sports Talk.
It's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword WORK to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's WORK to 200-200. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic. Sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive. Home of the best tire prices in Columbia. Guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A wreck on I-77 northbound near the Blythewood Road exit. Also an accident Clemson Road at Summit Parkway. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line number is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. Football, music festivals, finding the perfect costume. It's going to be an autumn to remember. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Colonel Zeb Uriah is leading the march to College Station, and the Gamecocks hope Zeb Nolan's late-game magic gets them a first-ever win over Texas A&M. Hey, it's Christopher Thompson from 103.5 FM and 560 AM WVOC. Carolina is facing the 17th-ranked Aggies Saturday night on the SEC Network. We'll get you ready with the best Gamecock coverage from Savage Craft Ale Works in West Columbia starting at 4:30 Saturday afternoon. See you there. Game day with WVOC.
Ready to get your home insanely clean for fall? Zero Res cleans like no other. No harsh chemicals are used and no sticky soapy residue is left behind. Right now, get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119. Plus, when you mention this station, you'll get a hallway clean for free. Schedule online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2073. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today and call 800-575-2073. That's 800-575-2073. Or you can visit us online at tra.com.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Tell the world I see with an emoji to stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Families affected by disasters urgently need support. Help the American Red Cross provide meals and shelter to those affected by disasters, big and small. Donate to Red Cross Disaster Relief. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS.
Now, back to Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan on Columbia's home for the 2018 National Championship Tigers, Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Back at it on a Tuesday afternoon, the show that shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk. Always appreciate John Blau from the Post and Courier for joining us again. Coming up in hour 2, Mike Uva. Of course, he does a tremendous job now with Gamecock Central. Follow him on Twitter as well at Mike_UVA. He'll be on with us in hour number 2. Well, this Saturday presents a unique opportunity for the Pitt Panthers as they are home favorites over the Clemson Tigers. The last time Clemson was an underdog in the regular season, you got to go all the way back to 2016 when Clemson played Louisville at home. Unbelievably, this Clemson Tiger team, which has been dominant for what it feels like nearly a decade and has had a wide margin between themselves and their contemporaries in the ACC, will enter the game against Pitt on Saturday as an underdog. Now, Pitt is 5-1 on the season. Opened again as 3.5-point favorites on Sunday. They'll be playing on their home stadium at Heinz Field. And they are ranked number 23 in the country coming into the game. What will be interesting to see, I think, from the standpoint of Kenny Pickett, again, he's a guy that's been around for a long time. As a matter of fact, he was the quarterback of the Pitt Panthers when they got throttled by Clemson in the ACC Championship, and he played terribly. Now, he threw 4 interceptions against Clemson a year ago as well. But right now is considered one of the contenders maybe for the Heisman Trophy, shaping things up and sharpening things up heading into this campaign. The question becomes, how does he perform against this Brent Venables defense that has been so solid even in the midst of the offensive struggles that Clemson has had? I mean, that's the question that I think you have to ask yourself is Clemson's defense good enough to hold off the wart, slow down, whatever terminology you want to choose, Pitt, enough for the Tiger offense to come over the top with enough points to win the ball game? Again, I can't pick Clemson to score more than 28 points. Like, that's kind of my rule at this point. They didn't kick through that 31-point barrier against Syracuse, so I'm still hung up by the rules of the projections. And the question for me now becomes, when you look at Pitt and how well they have done scoring this year offensively, is Clemson, are your Tigers good enough to slow them down and keep them under 28 points? Now, if the answer in your brain when I say that is no, then good luck Saturday. It's going to be tough. But if in your mind's eye you think, yeah, you know what? We could do that. Clemson can do that. Then, conversely, you might feel pretty good about yourself. Pitt currently with the third highest scoring offense in the country, by the way. Coastal Carolina leads America with 48.8 points per game, followed by the Ohio State Buckeyes, who average 48.5, and the Pitt Panthers check in at third, averaging 48.3 points per contest. Again, they are 5-1 and would essentially eliminate Clemson from even being a team they would have to worry about facing again by virtue of a victory on Saturday. Because if the Tigers drop another one, again, it's already hard enough. And if you've been watching NC State, you see the things that I am concerned about. Not that I think they are some overwhelmingly, incredibly talented team up in Raleigh, but I don't know if they are so bad that they're going to lose two of their final games in the regular season, like maybe we thought several weeks ago would be a cakewalk. And instead, they had the cakewalk in their matchup with Boston College. They took care of business. By the way, the fourth leading offense in America in scoring points per game is Alabama, and then Ole Miss checks in at fifth. So that's pretty good company that Pitt's keeping. Ohio State, Alabama, and Ole Miss. Now, look, we'll keep Coastal Carolina in there. But Cincinnati 6th, Oklahoma 7th, Texas is 8th. And so you've got one of the top scoring offenses in the country in Pitt facing off against Clemson, who has been one of the more putrid offenses in America. There are 130 teams that play college football in the country right now. Clemson checks in at 114th. Offenses currently better than Clemson? Oh, I don't know. Ohio, Akron, Northwestern, South Carolina, South Florida, North Texas, Old Dominion, Georgia Southern. Clemson currently averages 20.5 points per game. Big names worse than Clemson offensively, you can't find one. The Tigers are the biggest name in college football that lacks an offense from top to bottom. So one of the worst offenses in the country facing off against one of the best offenses in all the land. Now, for the Missy Elliott style, because you know what that means, put my game down, flipped it, and reverse it. Clemson is second in the country in scoring defense behind only the Georgia Bulldogs. Clemson gives up just 12.5 points per game. And if they want to win on Saturday, they'll have to continue to give up just 12.5 points per game. That's kind of where it is for me right now. This game comes down to Clemson's defense slowing down this Pitt offense, and also conversely, can Clemson's offense finally have the type of performance that everybody thought they'd see from them all year long? The problem is this is game 7. And as Dennis Green famously said, they are who we thought they were. And that might be who Clemson is. They are who we think they are, and they're just not a very good offensive team. 803-450-0086. We'll hit a quick break. We'll come back. We'll hear some from Tony Elliott and Brent Venables from Tiger Town as they met with the media on Monday afternoon. Stay with us for more of the show that shakes the Southland.
Hi, I'm Pat Struby, and I host the show Save Your Retirement each Saturday here on WVOC. One concern my clients have is what to do about Medicare. In my experience, what most people want is a trusted advisor who can show them their Medicare options. My friend Tim Hanberry understands the ins and outs of Medicare and is the author of a book called Medicare Blueprint. Tim walks you through the entire process, from helping you sign up with Medicare, picking the right plan, and then making sure you have your ID cards. He has done this for my clients, and I recommend him to you. So if it's your time for Medicare, call us at 803-9RETIRE and set up a time to speak with him. He'll listen to your individual circumstances and then give you the kind of straightforward advice you're looking for. Make this easy on yourself. Go to MedicareBlueprint.com or call 803-9RETIRE to set up an appointment.
Tim Hanberry is an independent agent. Pat Struby is not compensated by Tim. Neither Pat nor Tim are affiliated with Medicare, the U.S. government, or any governmental agency.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
It's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword WORK to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's WORK to 200-200.
Now the forecast from the Red Shirt Guys Roofing. TheRedShirtGuys.com.
Another gorgeous day out there today. Light wind, blue skies, sunshine, 78 degrees for a high. For ABC Columbia, Channel 25, I'm Tyler Ryan.
This report is sponsored by the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program. At the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Federal Employee Program, they cover more federal employees, retirees, and their families than any other health plan. Now it's time to see what they can do for you. Learn more about healthy benefits at fepblue.org/wecan.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today, I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The American Red Cross urgently needs blood and platelet donations and asks donors to schedule an appointment to give now. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood. Your blood donation is critical and can help save lives. Please, schedule an appointment today. Download the Blood Donor app, visit redcrossblood.org, or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. You can make a difference.
Broadcasting from the TrueCar.com studios. This is Columbia's Fox Sports Radio, 1400.
Back at it on a Tuesday afternoon. Lawton Swan hanging out with you again. Mondays are the day we get a chance to hear from the coaches, the assistant coaches, Tony Elliott and Brent Venables. And Tony Elliott was asked, after getting a chance to watch the tape, just how frustrating or disappointing was it to see what Clemson put on film after an open date?
A little bit, because I thought the guys were ready to play their best game. You look at the week, obviously the open week was more focused on getting healthy and just focusing on Clemson. Then we flipped the page to Syracuse and Man, the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, the way they handled the adversity, it was loud in here, it was deafening in here. They handled the communication well. We tried to show them every twist, known to mankind and preparing for all the movements. So I anticipated that they were going to come out and play a little bit better. And, it's a challenging time for them right now. I think the guys, probably are carrying too much pressure, putting too much pressure on themselves, especially on game day. And us as coaches, we just got to find a way to help them just, cut it loose. I think a lot of the guys are trying to play perfect, because of just the state that they're in right now. They don't want to make a mistake, which forces them to make a mistake as opposed to playing free. So, that's probably the only disappointing thing is they didn't cut it loose based off of what we saw leading into the game.
Elliott was also asked a question that we've kind of talked about here. Like, how do you alleviate the pressure from this team just to let those guys go out and play football and have fun again?
Just first our demeanor every single day, trying to lead by example, making sure that we're, presenting an inside-out mentality, and then just challenging the guys to block out the noise. I think this is a different year for everybody in college football with some of the outside distractions that have come in. Not saying or using that as an excuse, but I think a lot of the young people are dealing with a lot more than they may have dealt with in the past, and trying to balance that and manage that. You're seeing a little bit of that, but the good thing is the guys still continue to play hard. They haven't splintered. They're more unified as a team. They're aware of the issues. They understand the things we got to get correct. They don't want to go out and make mistakes. We got to find a way to transfer what we're doing in practice to the game, and that's probably the biggest challenge that we have, because the last several weeks of practice we've had really, really good preparation. And between the time we break practice on Thursday and the time we kick it off on Saturday, we're just there's a little bit of a disconnect there that's resulting in just there's some good things. Guys are doing some really, really good things, but on offense it's all 11 being on the same page, and that's where we're struggling. We'll have all 11 for about 2-3 plays, and then we'll have one guy that has a critical mistake that sets the drive back, and then now you can't recover from those things.
Tony Elliott was also asked about, as coaches, how difficult is it for those guys to not only project that image, but also to kind of get themselves right? This is something we've asked Tony Elliott several times ourselves.
I think for us in the business, we understand everything that comes with it. The biggest challenge is just trying to find the buttons to push with the players. I think the way the program is set up, especially for the staff, is we're very inside out. It starts with Coach Sweeney, and he's been positive and energetic like he always is. At the same time, he challenges us, demands us to do our job at the highest level. So it's just this unit here is just a different unit than we've had in years past. Not quite as many vocal leaders, whereas coaches, we got to step in and help. And you're starting to see like a DJ is becoming, like, his play's improved. DJ's each week has played better. It's just the guys around him have not quite played consistent enough for us to collectively do what we're capable of. So, biggest thing is just go back to work, bring that energy every single day, make sure that we're challenging these guys, but at the same time, showing the potential and the positive, because right now everything that they're probably hearing from the outside is all negative. So we got to get them to cut that out and just, stay inside out and focus on what they can control. And what they can control is how they perform.
Tony Elliott, again, speaking yesterday, he was asked about balancing his offense and, more importantly, stretching the field with that deep ball.
Each game you want to try and put the ball down the field, make the defense respect it and back it up. And we knew they were going to play some coverage, and so there weren't going to be great shots down the field. And we took a couple, and obviously the one in the second drive there, J. Ross catches that 9 out of 10 times. And that's a big play. And I think when you have a big play there, then your confidence all the way around, is boosted. But you got to continue to call the game, and try to take the safest shots you can, put it down the field when you can, and get some one-on-ones. We had some one-on-one balls down the field. There was another one to J. Ross on that 3rd and 16 when we overcame the snap that, he makes that play, I believe, 9 times out of 10. It's just right now that one keeps showing up. And then we had another one there in the 2-minute drive to Ngata, where actually the quarterback probably should have checked it down to the tight end and took the 5 yards, got the first down man, but he put the ball exactly where it needed to be placed. And we don't make that play. So it's just a challenge of trying to help them, what I'm saying? But at the same time, they got to help themselves just by going out and executing and making the plays.
Final thing for you from Tony Elliott yesterday. He was also asked about just facing off against Pat Narduzzi, the way Pitt plays defense. Obviously, we've talked about how good their offense is, one of the top in the country. But, with DJ, it hasn't just solely been about him, but you gotta be better. And that's essentially what Tony Elliott said.
Got to make plays. You got to make plays in the passing game in this. But I feel confident because DJ, right? So you look at DJ. DJ missed what? He missed the one deep ball, and then the one that he threw and on the ground, his foot got stepped on by the running back. So he missed that one. So I think he missed 3 throws, which is an improvement. And then he put some balls where were unbelievable. So I think he's really, really starting to hone in. And then there's not going to be anything schematically that you're going to have to do to get guys open in this particular deal. It's just going to be, can they win one-on-one with the way that they play? And over the years playing these guys, that's what it's come down to. You gotta try and run the football. But structurally, if you got a 5-man box, they're going to have 7 there really, really quick, right? If you have a 6-man box, they're going to get 8. So you got to be creative running the ball and keep them honest, use some RPOs to kind of offset your rush yardage. But at the end of the day, they're going to be up in your face on the outside, and you got to win one-on-one. So I think we can win the one-on-ones. We just got to finish the plays.
Clemson offensive coordinator Tony Elliott. Again, 803-450-0086. That is your text line. That is your phone line. It is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All right, let's flip the script. Let's go to the other side of the football. They've been playing great. Number 2 defense in the country. When you talk about the scoring defense, Brent Venables. We hear from Coach Venables here on the show that shakes the Southland on a Tuesday afternoon right after this. Again, our website, say it with me, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. And if you hate typing, ClemsonRadio.com will get you there as well. Again, Lawton Swan hanging out with you on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Go hit that follow right now.
Group training is a fun, accountable way to get in shape. I'm Coach Stewart of Dynamic Health and Fitness. Come train with one of our special groups today. We will focus on giving you the support you need to get in shape. We use the Dynamic Mob, featuring intervals of cardio, functional training, and strength training to change your lifestyle to make you healthy. Get started today at any of our locations in Lexington or West Columbia, or call 803-408-4060 or online at dynamichealthclub.com.
Guys, now there's no excuse. Peak Performance for Men has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction. The question is, what are you waiting for? Live the life you want today with a free consultation. No medication, no pumps, no needles, no pain, no surgery, and absolutely no downtime. Just non-invasive acoustic wave therapy that will have you back to your natural form. That's right. Now for a limited time, a free consultation. There is no risk. Fix it for good with one phone call. Call the Columbia office today at 803-302-8181 or find them at peakperformanceformen.com. Why wait? Enjoy your life to the fullest. Peak can make the difference. Call 803-302-8181 and get your free consultation now. That's 803-302-8181. Peak Performance for Men.
Your goals, your future, your dreams. These things are none of our business. Your credit score, your true crime obsession, and whatever you were searching for at 1:15 a.m. That's really none of our business. Because your life is private. And unlike other tech companies, we think your internet should be too. Oh, is someone there? Oh, that's none of our business either. Protect your privacy online for free with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
Join Macy's and give to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Here's how you can help. Make a donation today at Macy's.com/Macy'sGives. Or give back when you shop at any Macy's store. Round up your purchase amount and donate your extra change up to 99 cents. Your donation will help advance the world's most promising breast cancer research. Donate to BCRF and learn about the real breast cancer thriver and BCRF researcher behind our campaign at Macy's.com/Macy'sGives.
I'm Colleen Wolfe from Thursday Night Football and Good Morning Football Weekend.
And I'm Ricky Hollywood from Around the NFL and the Broadcast.
On our new podcast, Split Ends, Ricky and I will be coming to you every week to talk about all the important and unimportant storylines in the football world.
Join us for the stories on and off the field that matter. We'll break down games, news stories, tweets, interviews, whatever it takes to cover the ins and outs of the NFL world.
Listen to Split Ends on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
There are many sounds in your day-to-day life. There are sounds that wake you up. Sounds that make you smile. Sounds that energize you. And sounds that help you relax. But there are some sounds that can alert you to danger and can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you information about severe weather events, Amber Alerts, or other emergencies in your area. With critical information from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know, wherever you are. For more information, visit ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
$1,000 in your hand.
Yes!
Win $1,000 every hour. At least 12 chances every weekday.
Oh my God!
$1,000 in your hand on Fox Sports Radio 1400.
Final segment, hour number one of the show that shakes the Southland. We just heard from Tony Elliott. Well, how about let's hear from Brent Venables? You know, this Tiger defense has been incredible the entire season. Again, they will have to play spectacular football against the most potent offense that they face this year. That might be including the Georgia Bulldogs, given the way they played against Georgia. They'll have to have that same type of performance, no doubt, in order to help Clemson win on Saturday against the Pitt Panthers. Coach Venables was asked about their quarterback, Kenny Pickett, and that he's done. And Venables has seen him several times. Here's what he had to say about the Panthers quarterback.
Well, I thought a year ago he had a great year. You see more of the same. Very consistent. He makes very few mistakes as far as decision making. Great leader. Tremendous feel in the pocket. He's patient. He's confident in his offensive line. And he's got a big arm. He's dual threat, so he can extend plays and keeps his eyes down the field and can really run. Excellent runner. He's big, strong. He's fast. He ran away from Trenton Simpson last year. And again, he's got a great complement of receivers, a ton of experience around him, but he makes everybody better.
One cool moment that took place up at Syracuse was Tyler Venables, Brent Venables' son, got his first career interception. Here's how Venables said he responded to it.
Well, obviously it was a huge play in the game. After having an explosive play, to come right back and get a turnover in the red zone's huge. Obviously very proud. He's earned it. He's still learning how to play safety. He's played, 4 years of high school quarterback. So, but I've seen Tyler just get better and better. The more he's played, the better he's gotten. He's probably top 8 fastest guys on the whole team. Expected him to return it for a touchdown, actually. But now it's good to redeem himself from a week ago. He felt, even though we won the game, had a same opportunity a week ago. But again, as I told him, I was like, you haven't been there to do that. And that you only gain that, through experience. The more you play, the better you'll get. And you learn through failure and making mistakes. But huge play in the game for sure.
Brent Venables was also asked about the number of players that they were down defensively and just the effort that the team had totally on defense.
Solid, again, disappointed in the start and some of our run defense in the first half. But guys responded well, played with great effort. Got to continue to get more precise with what we're doing. Everything at all 3 levels, run defense, pass defense. But a lot to really like and a lot to teach from. Tremendous effort. Got a lot of extra effort plays. Jalen Phillips, again, as Russ was tell me a year ago he had the touchdown saving tackle and we got the turnover on the next play, and the same thing happened again. He saves the extra effort, saves the touchdown, and we turn right around the next play and get a pick. But I thought, again, we put good pressure on the quarterback, had easy, 3 more sacks that we just didn't finish the play, lost leverage, in the pocket. And so we got a lot to get better at, but I'm proud of the guys' mindset, attitude, and again, how we came out and, finished, a good part of the middle part of the game in particular.
Again, Brent Venables in preparation for Clemson's matchup with Pitt. He was asked about how is this offense different from the one they faced off against when Matt Canada was calling the plays back in 2016, that 43-42 shootout, the victory for Pitt inside Death Valley.
I think they emphasize a little more passing now, but a lot of the pre-snap stuff, there's a lot of pre-snap stuff. So a lot of it's the same in some ways, and the delivery is a little different, but I think they rode the running back that year and play action off of it. Now they're throwing the ball all over the place and have the ability to run it as well, as they showed you ran for over 200 yards against Virginia Tech last week, and really getting the running game going, the last few weeks. So great balance, and again, there's a lot going on before the ball snap. Tremendous tempo. They ran tempo last year. They're on the ball. Plays over, they're on the ball. So the fastest operating offense that we've seen. I think they're averaging just under 80 plays a game. So hopefully our guys can handle it like they did a year ago.
Brent Venables was also asked just about Kenny Pickett's play and if there was anybody he could really compare him to.
He's really good. He's going to play in the NFL. We've seen a bunch of good quarterbacks through the years and been beaten by him, like a Justin Fields a year ago, to guys that we have defended well. So again, I don't know comparison-wise who that person is, but he's a lot kind of like Joe Burrow from an experienced and calmness and accuracy, and can run and just makes all the right decisions, and having a heck of a year. Got a good complement of players around him, just like Joe did, and a good system that takes advantage of his skill set. So just thinking about most recent guys, he's probably the best comparison, most recent.
So there you go. Brent Venables with a comparison to Joe Burrow, just from the standpoint of his command and control and experience in that offense there at Pitt. 803-450-0086. Text line, phone line. Again, be a part of the program anytime, any place, anywhere. Always fun to hang out with you here on the Tuesday afternoon, where we kind of give you the peek over the fence with our buddy Mike Yuva. That's coming up. And again, out of the gates a little bit ago, John Blau from the Charleston Post and Courier getting a chance to hang out with us. One news nugget that we didn't get to today that actually broke late yesterday during the program: safety Joseph Charleston has entered the transfer portal. Beam me up, Scotty. There's another Tiger in the transfer portal. I mean, at some point, this portal's got to malfunction and bring a
Clemson
player
Sports
in,
Talk
right?
with Lawton
I mean, at
Swan
some point,
on Columbia's
the portal's
home
gotta
for
reverse.
sports.
You
Fox
can't
Sports Radio
continue the portal
1400.
one way, can you?
Now, Columbia's
Can
most
you?
dependable
I've
traffic,
asked the
sponsored by
question.
Pope
You let
Davis
us know.
Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia,
803-450-0086.
guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
A wreck on I-77 northbound near the Blythewood Road exit. Also an accident Clemson Road at Summit Parkway. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line number is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Is finding the right candidate slowing you down? Cut straight to you're hired with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. To find your next great hire, visit Indeed.com/credit.
The world is upside down and millions of Americans are out of work.
Debt keeps rising, and yet taxes and interest rates are at historically low levels. What's going to happen next? Oh, I don't know. Space monkeys could arrive. Times like these, it is important to do your homework and be prepared, especially if you're near retirement. Hi, it's Glenn Beck. This is not the time to go it alone and hope for the best. I want you to call Pat Struby today and find out what he can do for you right now. Do what other families just like yours have done for over 20 years. Call the team at Preservation Specialists. Call 803-9-RETIRE and schedule a complimentary phone or video consultation. Pat Struby and his team at Preservation Specialists are local and independent. Their focus is you and your retirement. So call 803-9-RETIRE. Schedule a complimentary consultation and be prepared for your retirement years. 803-9-RETIRE.
Glenn Beck has been remunerated and is not a client. Investment advisory services offered through Kalos Capital Inc. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
Are you shopping for your first home, or fourth, or fifth? At Cap Center, there's an easier way and a less expensive way. Cap your stress by using both our mortgage and realty teams, specialists who work together under one roof for a seamless experience. And cap your costs with a zero closing cost mortgage, saving you thousands of dollars compared to other lenders.
This was my first home purchase. I thought it was going to be an ordeal, but a friend recommended Cap Center to me. I can't believe how easy it was.
My third time using Cap Center. It's a great experience every time. Completely painless. Staff is always on top of what's going on. I can't understand why anyone would use another company and pay closing costs.
Cap your home buying costs. Visit capcenter.com. Equal housing lender. Visit capcenter.com for rates, savings, and offer limitations. This ad contains real client feedback voiced by actors. NMLS ID 67717. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Roxanne Watson is on a mission.
Hello, how are you doing today?
She wants more people to register as organ, eye, and tissue donors.
Are you an organ donor? Yes, I am. Yay! My goal is to sign up the most people in the United States.
What drives her? Roxanne's own life was saved through the gift of a heart transplant, made possible by an organ donor.
I decided that day that I was going to devote myself to the cause of organ donation and signing people up and honoring my donor by doing that.
Now she's back to health, and she's a powerful force helping to save lives every day through her work. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life.
8 people can be helped with the major organs, and up to 50 people can be helped with a little bit of everything. And when you think about it that way, that you could help that many people, it's amazing. It really is.
Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
Unit 121, responding to possible carbon monoxide poisoning.
Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless, tasteless gas that kills more than 500 Americans every year. Never use generators, grills, camp stoves, or other gasoline or charcoal burning devices inside your home, basement, or garage, or near a window. If it's cold, stay with friends or family or in a shelter. To learn more, call 1-800-CDC-INFO.
WCOS Columbia, Fox Sports Radio 1400, an iHeartRadio station available everywhere on our free iHeartRadio app. #1 for music, radio, and podcasts, all in one.
And for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan. Please call me Swanee.
Tiger style. Tiger style.
It is hour number 2. That's Drive Time right here on the show that shakes the Southland. And, of course, you're getting accustomed to it on a Tuesday. Hour 2, we peek over the fence. Gamecock Central Zone, Mike Yuva joins the program. Mike, big guy, a weekend of excitement at Williams-Brice Stadium. South Carolina goes down 6 points late, and then your boy Zeb Nolan delivers. Zebulus, they are Zeb crazy right now. 21-20, South Carolina over Vanderbilt.
Everyone's excited except for this one man who was sitting behind me during the game. I drew the short straw, Swanee, and I had to sit in the bleachers and had to deal with the message board by having a couple sips of Blue Moon in between. I mean, it was a tough job, but someone had to do it. And I was the one that drew the short straw this weekend for Gamecock Central. And I volunteered for actually that one. But with that all being said, I got a different perspective by sitting in the stands. And this one guy behind me was so irritated towards the end of the game. He got up and said, "I'm tired of this blank." He said, "I'm going to go get a corn dog across the street at the State Fair," and he left. So everyone's excited today about seeing that finish because that was the same end zone. It was across from the student section. That was the same end zone where the touchdown happened except for corn dog guy. So thoughts and prayers to the corn dog guy because he missed a heck of a finish with Zepp coming off the bench and doing what he did.
You know, for the South Carolina faithful who have been in the trenches with this team, and again, well, you can see that there's still a big gap to fill in terms of the fan base to bring people back, and I get it. It's disappointing the way things went under Will Muschamp. I do believe Shane Beamer's building up a nice program. It's going to take a while. But for the fans that have been there, man, just to have witnessed that moment for Zeb and to know his story, that's what, I mean, you already kind of said, 2 months ago when we were talking about this kid or right at the beginning of the season when he kind of came forward, like, hey, this should be a 30 for 30 at some point. I mean, to come in and to lead that drive after you're down by 6, and of course, Luke Doty throwing the interception just a possession ago, just speaks volumes about what this young man can bring to the table potentially.
And just to really put things into perspective, Swanee, I really never talked about this story. I think maybe the first time I shared it maybe was today on another platform, but because I felt like at some point sharing this too early, people would just find a way to spin this on Zeb. Bottom line was a week before training camp. This just goes to show how much this guy had no intentions or thought of really playing at all. Yes, he talked about the possibility of playing. I know Shane mentioned it at some point that regardless if Luke Doty went down, it was a possibility that he could suit up. A week before training camp, I went out to one of the local bars, and who did I see? I see Zeb. And that was my golf partner, as I've mentioned before, at a charity golf outing for Shane
Right?
a couple weeks earlier. So Zeb and I are having a couple cold ones, just like any grad assistant would, right? So the point being is this guy was living the life of a grad assistant, and then a couple weeks later, what happens? Suits up, and then he's in a situation where he starts at the beginning of the year, plays another game, and then he plays against Georgia and unfortunately gets hurt. And I think at that point, a lot of people probably thought, all right, that's the last we're going to see of Zeb Noland. And then what happens? Another opportunity knocks on the door and presents itself against Vanderbilt. He goes out there and he marches right down the field. So, look, whether it be Vanderbilt, whether it be, I don't think it happened against Georgia, but the point being is whether it happened against pretty much any team in the country, I think it's the story itself rather than who they were playing. And I think it's just a good lesson too, not to get too corny with this, but this is what playing football and playing sports is all about. You never know when your number is going to get called. And for this young man to be ready and to get thrown in the mix, and to not only get thrown into the mix, but to go out there and look who's the first person to celebrate with him, Luke Doty. And I think that speaks volumes. You talk about culture. You're talking about trying to create a foundation for what this program is going to be built on moving forward outside of wins and losses and what Shane's trying to do over there. That speaks volumes. And a lot of that has to do not just with Shane, but with how Zeb has conducted himself and how much he's been able to lift up the spirits and not just guys like Luke Doty and Jason Brown and Colton Gothard in that quarterback room, but the entire team to have Doty be the one that goes out there and celebrates with him first.
Again, Mike Uva joins us. Of course, you know him from his work with Gamecock Central. He's on Twitter at Mike_UVA. And Mike, I know the transfer portal has been an issue for South Carolina since Shane Beamer arrived. I think they've had maybe 13 guys transfer, including just in the past month or so, Ortre Smith earlier in October, the wide receiver. And then also earlier today, Rosendo Lewis is stepping away from the program. This is not something that's unique to South Carolina. It's a plague across the world of college football. But how much of an impact does something like this have either positively or maybe negatively on the program? Because what I see is future roster spots available for a recruiting class, but maybe other people see it a different way.
Well, I don't know if Shane Beamer would necessarily agree with me with what I'm about to say, that I think about not just college football, but I think about college basketball. And, I've seen it firsthand, whether it be at my college at Assumption, whether it be, in other Division I programs, whether it be in other sports. And what happens sometimes is when a new coach comes in, they want to be able to build the roster that they want. Obviously these guys, for the most part, outside of some late comers towards the end, this is not a Shane Beamer roster. Yes, he was able to put his mark on it a little bit with his last recruiting class, but for the most part, this is Muschamp's guys. So what it's going to do is exactly what you just mentioned, Swanee. It's going to open up opportunities to be able to bring in other players, whether that be through the transfer portal, whether it be JUCOs, whether it be some extra guys from a recruiting standpoint. This is going to allow USC to give Beamer that chance to be able to really put the team together in the vision that he has. So with that being said, sometimes it can be a good thing. I've seen this happen in other sports, like I mentioned with basketball, where they'll say, hey, look, that scholarship opportunity that we said that we're going to have for you isn't going to be there. Because what people fail to remember when it comes to scholarships, they are 1-year commitments each year. They are 1-year commitments. So as crazy as this sounds, now obviously this wouldn't happen to him, but a guy like Trevor Lawrence going to Clemson, they don't have to honor that all 4 years. That's a 1-year commitment. And when you have opportunities to be able to go out elsewhere, you're going to do that. Now, with that all being said, a coach can come out and say, hey, look, we're going to give you your scholarship, but we can't guarantee you're going to be having a lot of playing time. I've seen that happen in situations. I'm not saying Shane has been saying that, but I've seen that tactic used before to kind of scare players to enter the transfer portal. Some players just won't play, and they'll just leave on their own. So sometimes these things happen organically. Sometimes these things happen by being able to kind of just push a kid and nudge a kid. The players that want to be there will be there, and the players that don't, they'll make that decision to leave elsewhere. And if they do, yes, they'll free up some roster space.
Mike, before we get into the back end of South Carolina's schedule, I do want to ask you this. Do Gamecock fans recognize how similar, and I brought this up with you, obviously, but how similar Shane Beamer is to Dabo Swinney when he took over the program? Like, I was watching after the game on Saturday, and the alma mater for South Carolina is playing, and Shane Beamer's doing an interview, but he stops to do whatever the little hand gesture is that South Carolina fans do, here's a toast or something. I don't know it, but and he tells Zeb to do the same thing. And that's the same type of I don't know what the right word is, attitude or whatever that Dabo Swinney had to kind of build Clemson's program, the culture in that program. I mean, do South Carolina fans recognize just how similar these two coaches may be?
I know you're going to get mad at me when I say this, but I'm very disappointed as a proud alum of USC as well as Clemson that you don't know that's forever to me, Swanee. So, you should know that. I mean, I'm not an alum of USC, but with that being said, you know it as well. You know it as well as I do, right? That whether it be Gamecock fans, whether it be Clemson fans, they absolutely hate when you make a comparison to the two. I've made comparisons with Dabo to Dawn Staley and what she's been able to do and just the environment. And I hate using the word because it's so overused in sports, but the culture. But it's not just the culture within the program. It's a culture that extends out to the fan base and the community. I've used that comparison before. With this all being said, yes, I can see a lot of similarities in terms of what Beamer is doing right now in comparison to what Dabo did. Now, does that mean that Beamer is going to go win a pair of national titles and, win about 5-6 straight conference championships? No, absolutely not. That doesn't mean that. And I'm not even going to go down the narrative of comparing the conferences because that's so worn out at this point. I'm not going to do that, but you get the point. And the point being is this. Shane is doing what he can to build up a program, but he's doing it while being himself. And I know Gamecock fans, they have their thoughts on Dabo. I get that. And I'm sure in the next couple of years, especially if Shane's able to turn this program around and they're able to end the streak against Clemson, they're able to get some wins against the Tigers, I'm sure Clemson fans will have their perception of Shane as well. I mean, that just happens, right? With that being said, I just think that how he's doing it right now is the right way. It's going to take time. I mean, they just showed the video a couple weeks ago. I know it happens around this time of the year. Every year, it seems like they show the video of Dabo talking about, we have to have guys that are all in, and look what he's been able to do. And I had an opportunity on Gamecock Central over the weekend. We post them on Mondays. It's called Mix in the Water Monday. And we go back, we recap the game that was. Corey Helms, a former Gamecock offensive lineman, but also a grad assistant for Will Muschamp. We had an opportunity to break down the game. And one of the things he mentioned is like, look, I'm not going to sit here and tell fans to be patient. He's like, I hate being patient, but just continue to have that same energy and support the players. He's like, that's all I can tell you right now. Believe in what Shane's doing and just give that same energy to those players because they'll feed off on it. So I'm one of those guys that get it, that Gamecock fans don't want to hear that word patience. I know Shane probably doesn't want to hear that word patience. So if you don't want to hear that word patience, that's fine. Just continue to give these players that energy because that's what they're going to build off of. That's what Clemson was able to build off of before they started to go on their run. So, maybe if you can get a Gamecock fan in a dark room where there's no lights, no cameras, maybe they'll admit that. But on the streets, it's Swanee. Just like Clemson fans, no one wants to make any type of comparisons to the other school.
Look, man, I think you're all over it, and I couldn't agree more. Now, the question becomes for the South Carolina faithful, what does the rest of this season look like? And I felt if South Carolina lost to Vanderbilt, there was going to be this. I don't know, man. It just feels like it's a little bit of a fragile fan base right now, and maybe rightfully so. But they did survive that game. They won that game, and they did it in epic fashion with Zeb Nolan, as we mentioned. But now comes the part of the schedule that I think every South Carolina fan has been eyeballing and saying, oh, boy, this could be tough. Texas A&M on the road this Saturday. Then you've got a bye week. Follow that up with a matchup against Florida, at Missouri, then Auburn and Clemson at home. Mike, what can be expected for South Carolina over the next 5 ball games to end the regular season, given A&M, Florida, Auburn, and Clemson? Forget the Missouri game on the road. Who knows how that one will go? But just focus on those big 4 teams that they're facing moving forward. I mean, this could be a tough stretch, no doubt.
Well, you mentioned the fragile fan base potentially. The guy left the game against Vanderbilt. He'll get a
corn dog man.
So, corn dog fan over here. And I made the joke that, he's probably in the car punching his steering wheel as he drives over. Of course, it's in walking distance, but some people, they understand sarcasm and, who's going to get in their car to drive this state? All right, pal. All right. Anyway, but no. So, yes, there definitely is some people that regardless of the result this past weekend, but even if they lost to Vanderbilt, Swanee, I think there'd be more people that are going to be up in arms. And the reason why is regardless of the inconsistencies that we've seen with this program, the fact is, yes, they do have 5 games left. They have 4 wins. And there are actually, I believe ESPN just put out yesterday, there are actually projections of USC still making a bowl game in some. Birmingham. Now, is that, a New Year's Six bowl game? No. But a bowl game is a bowl game this year. And to make it to a bowl game like we've talked about in the past, that would be a huge, 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 huge accomplishment considering the fact of where this program was a year ago, going 2-8. So with that being said, when you look at what's ahead of this of USC, I think if we talked about this going into the season or maybe even 2 or 3 weeks in, you'd probably say, shoot, this is going to be a brutal, brutal, brutal schedule. I think the thing about it is when you look at the teams they're playing, not USC themselves, the teams they're playing, there are teams right now that aren't in the best state of mind right now. There are teams that have struggled themselves. Is Clemson as good as what we thought they were potentially going to be at the beginning of the season? No, Clemson's still figuring themselves out. Now, the dangerous thing about Clemson is they have a very, very talented defense still, which does not get talked about because it feels like we just want to focus on the offense. I understand that. They still have Dabo Swinney, who's one of the best college football coaches in the country. They still have one of the best defensive coordinators. And even though Tony Elliott, and people can make, comments as to, well, he doesn't have his, his back to his Robin right now because he's the true offensive coordinator now. He's not, he doesn't have a co-offensive coordinator anymore. You can make all these excuses all you want. The point being is Clemson still is a good team, but they have shown that they are beatable. So that Clemson game just becomes more interesting as we get closer and closer. Florida, they're very inconsistent right now. I mean, a couple weeks ago, the way they played Alabama, that looked like a team that could potentially still be able to give Georgia a run for their money. And, of course, that's not the case. Texas A&M, we saw what they were able to do. I know I'm jumping all over the map here in some of these games. I'm not going in chronological order. Texas A&M, they beat Alabama. You're going down to one of the toughest places to play a college football game. You look at some of these matchups, then Auburn, right? Auburn has to come here. The Mike Bobo revenge game. Probably no one else is going to call it that. So when I look at the schedule, and I know you mentioned Missouri and kind of put them to the side, I honestly believe South Carolina's best bet to win 2 games is going to be Missouri, which is going to be difficult because you still got to go on the road, and then most likely Clemson. And the reason why I say that is if South Carolina is going into that game at 5-6, you still have something to play for. You would like for any team going into a rivalry game to play for something, but we know how that's not always the case. So if they're 5-6 going to that Clemson game and Clemson themselves do not show improvements, in South Carolina somehow magically overnight can find a way to move the football, that defense is good enough to at least put them in games. If their offense can just find a way to click, I think that game becomes more and more interesting as we get closer and closer to Thanksgiving Day week.
Listen, man, the way Clemson has been playing offensively, I think anybody that plays the Tigers at this point has got to be considered being in the game. Mike, you are always, my man, in the game here on the show, hanging out with us, having a good time. And again, you guys continue to follow his work over with Gamecock Central. Does a tremendous job over there. And he's on Twitter at Mike_UVA. Mike, we will talk to you next week, and we'll see how it goes out there in College Station. They just took care of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'll say this, that doesn't make you feel the warm and fuzzies if you're a Gamecock headed out the Lone Star State.
Yeah, Beamer won't want to hear it, but just try to cover the spread this week. And it just doesn't fight. I mean, it's almost a 3-touchdown favorite over there in College Station. You play the way that you played against Vanderbilt, you're going to be looking like how you played against Tennessee a couple weeks ago. They will run you off the field. You need to be able to click. It's not about effort. It's about execution this week.
All right, Mike, appreciate you hanging out with us, man. We'll talk to you soon, and I hope you guys have a great week over at Gamecock Central.
You too, bud.
803-450-0086. You want to react to any of that? Again, Mike joins us every week. Again, John Blau, hour 1, giving you the Clemson perspective from the Charleston Post and Courier. Mike Yuva giving you the Gamecock perspective from Gamecock Central. Again, everybody will say, "Oh, Swanee, you're the orange-shaded, orange Kool-Aid drinking, orange underwear wearing guy." That's just not true. I bring the truth. I am the truth, justice, and the American way here on the show that shakes the Southland. 803-450-0086. Our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com, where $63.17 gets you 1 year of coverage. That's right. I said it, Gamecock Nation. $63.17. Stay with us.
It's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword BAG to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's BAG to 200-200.
Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic, sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive, home of the best tire prices in Columbia, guaranteed.
Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Look out for a wreck on Farrow Road at 277. Also an accident on Bush River Road at I-26. The 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line number is 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. Football, music festivals, finding the perfect costume. It's going to be an autumn to remember. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Football is back at Platinum West. Catch all the action of Sunday and Monday pro football on the big screens, while the ladies run their own plays throughout the club. Saturdays get in free with a game day ticket stub, and Mondays wearing team attire. Mondays also get you in free with your college ID. Enjoy a daily happy hour from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. and a full kitchen menu from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Champagne rooms are always available. Platinum West, open daily from 11 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 11 a.m. to 6 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays. On Facebook at Platinum West.
Let me
me tell you who I trust to protect my home and my family. Modern Exterminating. Hey, it's Lawton Swan, and when you need top quality service from a team that knows what bugs you, call Modern Exterminating, 765-2315. They're locally owned and offer a full complement of pest elimination services, including complete pest control, termite plans, moisture control, and more. Check out Modern Exterminating online at pestfreesc.com or give them a call today, 765-2315. Modern Exterminating. They know what bugs you.
Hi, Scott here with Traditions Fine Jewelers. Everybody knows that diamonds are a girl's best friend. But did you know that now there's a new kind of diamond that's sure to become a girl's new best friend? I'm talking about lab-grown diamonds, of course. They're exquisite, they're stunning, and they're incredibly affordable. Best of all, if you're looking for something big, they eliminate the need to settle for a lower-grade stone, because now you can get a beautiful, eye-clean, bright 1-carat diamond for less than $2,000. Or how about a gorgeous 2-carat diamond for just $5,000? Or if you want to go really big, how about a 3-carat for just $10,000? Yes, we still carry diamonds that come from the earth, and we always will, because there's nothing more romantic than an earth mine diamond. But now modern technology gives you an amazing choice, and we're all about it. So come see us and start your journey towards getting the diamond of your dreams, earth mined or lab grown. It's your call. And for the best selection of both, come see us at Traditions, only at Traditions Fine Jewelers. Now with 2 locations to serve you, Sunset Boulevard in Lexington or at the Sand Hills Center in front of the fountain. Traditions Fine Jewelers, where the Midlands get engaged.
Sandhills location now open.
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it at doihaveprediabetes.org. But you're probably not going to. Nope. I'm sure you've got a perfectly good excuse. Kids, work. I get it. You're busy. So what better time than now? Let's begin. Raise 1 finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, count in your head if you're driving. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active, another finger if anyone in your family has type 2 diabetes, another if you've got high blood pressure. If you're overweight, raise another finger, 2 if you're very overweight, and 3 if you're really overweight. You've just taken the world's first audio prediabetes test. And if you're holding up 5 or more fingers, visit doihaveprediabetes.org or talk to your doctor. There's no excuse, because prediabetes can be reversed.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Stay on top of today's pop culture. Ace and TJ Mornings and today's hit music all day on 104.7 WNOK.
It is the show that shakes the Southland Clemson Sports Talk on a Tuesday afternoon. Remember earlier in the season, a matter of fact, it was the opener, right? Illinois and Nebraska, and Brett Bielema there at Illinois. They get the victory over Nebraska, and all of a sudden sort of not necessarily the mindset of what Illinois could be, but maybe what Scott Frost and Nebraska would be, was certainly knocked on its head. They're currently, by the way, the Cornhuskers 1-4. In the Big Ten. Well, Illinois, that's been their only win of the season in the Big Ten. They are 2-5 overall, and a rather disappointing year so far. But Brett Bielema had a harsh reality and conversation about the offensive line there at Illinois. And remember, this is a guy who had boatloads of success at Wisconsin, running the football. Again, I don't know if he was given the right amount of time at Arkansas in order to be successful in the SEC, to flip over that offense into what he wanted it to be, and then back to Chad Morris trying to flip it back, whatever, however you want to look at it. But here's what Brett Bielema had to say about his offensive line, and he did not hold back.
I just know this, as a head coach, you're only as good as your roster, right? I kind of learned that the first time I went to the Kentucky Derby, right? Nobody was betting on the jockeys. Everybody was betting on the horses, right? So to win a Derby, you got to have the right horse. And I think our players are going to be a reflection of what our program stands for. And I stood at the front of the room last year when I took over and said everybody is invited back because of COVID. They gave me the opportunity to do that. But as this roster continues to transition, I've got to make tough decisions. Players have to make decisions. and the roster is going to have to change to get to where we want to be to win the championship. So I recognize that probably midway through the spring last year, through the summer, just certain positions haven't maybe played out the way they envisioned them to. In particular, the offensive line. I don't believe we have a player in the two deep that they've recruited here over the last 3 years that is really significantly doing anything for us in the playing department. And that's a major concern, right? So that's something that we have to do. Top two quarterbacks that have played to this point are both transfers, right? So there hasn't been any development at that position that is significantly playing right now. Isaiah was that guy, but he's obviously playing a wide receiver position in Deuce. So defensively, we knew there was going to be an evolution just kind of on the style of defense that we played. We got to definitely get a lot of bigger bodies, I believe, up front to get what we want to get done to play in this league at a consistent level. So there's things that we're definitely evolving every day. And as a head coach, I think I have to prioritize my recruiting.
So there you go, Brett Bielema. How about the harsh criticism of the offensive line? I don't believe we have a player in the two deep that they've recruited here over the last 3 years that is really significantly doing anything for us in the playing department. That's a major concern. Brett Bielema, again, talking about his offensive line. Look, obviously they're not great. Obviously they've struggled. But if you're the head coach and you're going to talk about the culture of your program, is that the way you fix it? Like, listen, I can be frustrated with Clemson and the coach speak and everything over and over and over. But that feels like you're putting your own guys down. Like, I think Brett Bielema could have said, look, we know we're going to have to utilize the transfer portal to bring in some players who can make some plays for us over the next few years. That'll help increase our depth, make us, a deeper, better ball club. And we certainly are looking for starters, guys that can come in and play. And in that response, you don't degrade the guys that you are counting on over the next, 5-6 games of the season to play as good as possible. I don't believe we have a player in the two deep that they recruited here over the last 3 years that's really significantly doing anything for us in the playing department. I mean, these, after all, are still college athletes playing college football, a game that they love, not necessarily a game that they are paid to play. They could certainly earn money off of their name, image, and likeness. But if that's your evaluation of them, it's hard to imagine that anybody outside of a Taco Bell and a free burrito every once in a while is going to do a whole lot to push their agenda through these players that the coach doesn't even believe are worthy of being on the gridiron. And for Bielema, look, it's a wise move, and I think this is the direction that college football will go. And I don't mean a wise move in terms of these players, but in terms of the transfer portal. I mean, essentially what you just heard was, we need help immediately. If available and you want to play, hit us up ASAP. We'd like to have you be a part of the program, or we'd like to have you be a part of our program and what we're building. And that, I think, is, sort of the indirect aspect of what was said. But my gosh, if you're a parent of one of those kids that's playing there, you're thinking, what is my boy pouring in work for? And if you think it's so great now, what if he gets a little bit less aggressive, coach? A little more laissez-faire about things? I don't pretend that offensive line couldn't be a concern for this group. It might be a major concern. But the bigger concern for me, if I'm an Illinois fan at this point, is how my coach is handling that. Like, there are ways to say we want guys from the transfer portal and we need better players than saying, hey, the guys we have here stink. Like, there's a way to do it tactfully and still remain favorable towards the players you currently have and favorable towards the the transfer portal. You know, parents often tell kids, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say it at all. And if my memory serves me correctly, Brett Bielema's family did come up to visit him for that opening game and the job that he took over there at Illinois. And I don't know what Mama Bielema's up to today, but perhaps this will be a time for Mama Bielema to reach out to her baby bear, Brett, and say, listen, hon, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. We'll hit a quick break. We'll come back with some of your thoughts and comments and more here on the show that shakes the Southland.
By popular demand, Great Southern Homes now lists their coming soon communities online. Whether you're looking for a new home in your hometown, moving to a new town, or just want your pick of choice lots, this is the place to start. Great Southern Homes invites you to put the wow in your new home with options and upgrades. Live green, live smart in your new green smart home. Show your style and personalize your new home with options and upgrades from Great Southern Homes. Find your dream home today, GreatSouthernHomes.com.
A divorce can cause strife and cost you more than it should. That's why you need the experienced counsel of Masella Law to guide you and protect what you value most. With over 25 years of experience, Masella Law has a proven track record of success in family law, criminal defense, and more. With countless cases won or competently settled, we are confident in our ability to fight on your behalf. Call Masella Law for exceptional representation at 748-9990.
748-9990. Give us a call or just log on MasellaLaw.com.
When it's football season, that means it's fall. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Sure, it's a big difference going from those hot summer days to those cool fall and winter nights. If you do have a problem, or better yet, before you have a problem, have my friends at On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air come and take a look. With On-Call, you'll always get a trained technician, not a trained salesperson.
On-Call Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Pick up the phone and we'll be right there. Call 781-HELP.
It's your chance to win $1,000. Text the nationwide keyword BAG to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's BAG to 200-200.
This is Clay Travis. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by the NHL on TNT.
Duke is the favorite to take the ACC men's hoops crown. The preseason media poll gives the edge to Coach K's last team over Florida State and North Carolina. NBA season tips off tonight. The Nets is the Vegas favorites to win the title, but sportsbooks report the most money's going down on the Lakers. And it looks like the Hornets will be healthy for tomorrow night's season opener against the Pacers. Miles Bridges and Terry Rozier were upgraded to probable on the injury report. I'm Scott Davidson.
The NHL is on TNT. Tomorrow night, starting at 7 Eastern, the Boston Bruins take on the Philadelphia Flyers, followed by the St. Louis Blues versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Watch NHL on TNT every Wednesday and follow Bleacher Report Open Ice for more action.
Want more bites in your fright?
The free iHeart app has the largest collection of spooky podcasts on the planet, featuring 13 Days of Halloween, Season 2, The Sea, starring Kathy Najimy from Hocus Pocus.
The people here call me Mother.
13 original stories, one per day through Halloween, each in 3D audio to place you in the center of the story. Best experienced with headphones. Tap podcasts in the iHeart app to find this and a trick-or-treat bag full of podcasts sure to make you squirm.
Take an ordinary putty knife and scrape off the old wax ring. Place the new wax ring over the flange, then line up the bolts with the bowl and gently set in place, making sure a proper seal is created with the flange and drain. Next.
Dad?
Yeah, sweetie.
Is that a new plumbing manual?
Oh, yeah, honey.
We really need to get some new books.
Right, do you want me to stop?
Nah, I kind of want to know how it ends.
Okay. Tighten the bolts, line up the flushing valve to the opening in the top of the bowl, and secure the tank with a screwdriver and crescent wrench.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Serving Columbia at 1400. And the world on the iHeartRadio app.
Clemson Sports Talk on a Tuesday. Again, thank you to our guests for joining us and being a part of the program. And we've heard from so many of you, and it's been enjoyable, even though Clemson is not playing up to the standard that you all expect. It's still been amazing to have so many people contribute and be a part of the program. And one of those listeners is Mac. He hit us up with a text yesterday, 803-450-0086, late in the program. I didn't get to it. Mac said, injuries, talent, schemes, recruiting, utilization of right players on the field and so forth are a part of the game. In addition, coaching is an essential part as well. The question is, are coaches helping the players become better? That's the elephant in the room. Is there a need for a change because basically the same is being presented to the opposition on a regular basis? He said, just like your wardrobe in a relationship, there needs to be some variety. Coaches, Mac, how do you know about my wardrobe? He said, coaches need to be reevaluated at the end of the year, and something different is a must. He said, I look at the talent that is brought in, but some players are not getting any better. Look at the positions and which ones make it to the pros, whether early or late rounds. Again, that comes to us from Mac. All very good thoughts on the situation up in Tiger Town. And, you know, I think that obviously the offensive line is a place that people are overly concerned and should be. I know they thought Taquan Johnson would be able to contribute. He's been out. Big John Williams has been out, and, you know, it just Dietrich Pennington's out. And those things have kind of compounded themselves too. And I'm not telling you that those guys are necessarily the magic elixir that would fix things, but injuries are a part of it. That is no doubt. And Mac mentioned that himself. So I think that's part of the issue that you've seen from Clemson. And I do think that there's been a lack of creativity. And again, some of the things that I have heard talking to people is that there's a belief that DJ Uiagalelei doesn't completely have a grasp on this system the way they need him to. And so if you can't run, and we have heard this from Tony, if you can't run the easy things, how do you expand the playbook and make it more difficult? Now, DJ, again, in 2 games a year ago, threw for 781 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That was against Boston College and Notre Dame. He had more, obviously, through the year, but that was those 2 key performances that everybody judged him on. And, again, I think it is just completely possible that film study and preparation for DJ is another issue that they've got, that they have figured out his tendencies and the things he wants to do, and they're taking those things away, and he's still very young. I have said all year, pretty much, that I think this Clemson team goes as DJ Uiagalelei goes. And that, forget how poor the offensive line might be playing. DJ has to overcome that, and if he does, this team could be very, very good. Until then, I think you're going to continue to see these same struggles, because as much as some of the other guys are making mistakes, DJ has the ball in his hands every play, and that's amplifying the issues for Clemson. 803-450-0086. That's the text line. Preston, when he found out we were underdogs to Pitt, he said, yikes, Swanee. We've slipped quite a bit. They have slipped. They definitely don't look to be playing with the same confidence in their eye that they have. They've always sort of felt like in recent years, I think, that they were going to make a play, right? They were going to make the play. And now it looks like they're looking around going, hey, is anybody willing to make a play? So as we continue to follow this team and see how they mature, I think that's a part of it. When do they turn into the team that's like, all right, we're here to make a play, let's do it? Instead of, boy, I hope somebody sure makes a play. Finally, Benton Zero says, Swanee, after the bye week, we just have to accept that this is who we are. He said, I wouldn't want to put Tyson in behind that offensive line. Yeah, that's it. That's the other part of the situation with Tyson Pumachan. You know, I've said I'd love to see him get an opportunity, because how much worse could it be? But then here's a guy that was injured with his Achilles. and an offensive line that hadn't been great. That doesn't seem to be the recipe for a ton of success, but I still would like to see it at least once. Ben Zero also said, good grief. It is what it is at this point. I'm just talking it. I'm just taking it game by game and hope we can worm our way into the ACC championship. It would be worming their way in too, wouldn't it? Man, at this point, I have said, I've been asked several times about it, and I'll continue to stick firm with it. I mean, this is very much still NC State's league to lose as long as they've got the tiebreaker over Clemson and a 2-game advantage. Until they drop one game, I just have a tough time imagining that Clemson is going to find a way to get there. And you might say, well, yeah, no kidding, Swanee, because they have to lose 2. But they're running out of time to lose those 2 ball games. I mean, the wheels are going to have to come off for the Wolfpack in order for Clemson to ascend into that role. And I don't really see it happening. And if you lose this Saturday at Pitt, Vince Carter, this thing, it's over. Game over. You don't get a shot because they're not losing 3. And I'm not sure Wake Forest is going to lose 3. I mean, this is, if you want to circle the game on the schedule right now that is going to decide whether or not Clemson is going to go to the ACC championship, it's taking place in Heinz Field this Saturday. I mean, that's the difference at this point. And I know every game's important. I know yada, yada, yada. I've heard it all. But if you lose this game, it's over. Done deal. Bowl projections, however, are beginning to come out. They have been out. You know, these things, they come out all year. But now we're at the midway point. So where is Clemson in the bowl projections? Remember, this is a team that a lot of people projected would be in the college football playoff. Where are the Tigers now? Does anybody or do people still buy them as a team that's going to get into one of the big 6 bowl games? Or, Tiger fans, will you be battening down the hatches and heading to some undisclosed locale that you're totally not excited about to watch your Tigers play? There is a bright side, however, if Clemson does end up in a bowl like that. I'll tell you what that is when we get back here on the show that shakes the Southland. Keep it locked for more Clemson Sports Talk on Fox Sports Radio 1400 in the Midlands, and, of course, around the world on the iHeart Radio application.
Are you thinking about refinancing your home to get cash out for college, a renovation, or to pay off debt? The last thing you want to do is pay thousands of dollars in unnecessary closing costs just to access the equity in your home. After all, you have plans for that money. Cap your closing costs with Cap Center, your local South Carolina lender.
We just helped a client who was a professional chef finance the remodeling of his dream kitchen. By avoiding typical closing costs, he had even more money to put towards the premium quality he had hoped for. So the cash out refinance has been a win-win-win for him. We were able to get his rate down. He's using the cash for something he is passionate about, and the money is actually going back into his home.
Cap your closing costs. Visit capcenter.com. Equal housing lender. Visit capcenter.com for rates, savings, and offer limitations. NMLS ID 67717. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
There's a hot new podcast we think you'll like. Variety's Strictly Business. Hear candid conversations about business deals, strategy, and the future of media and entertainment from industry A-listers. Hosted by Variety business editor Cynthia Littleton and co-editor-in-chief Andrew Wallenstein. And once a month, executive editor of music Shirley Halperin will join the conversation to discuss the business of music. Listen to Strictly Business on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
When a community grows, its hospital should grow too. And that's just what we're doing at Lexington Medical Center. We recently launched the largest hospital expansion project in South Carolina history. Our new 10-story patient tower will help us take better care of patients, including the tiniest infants who need special attention. It will also make room for the growing number of patients who need surgery and intensive care. At Lexington Medical Center, our mission to serve our community never wavers. We're here when you need us today, and we'll be there when you need us tomorrow.
Fall flex savings are happening now at Studemeyer Heating and Air Conditioning. Now through November 19th, save thousands on a new heating and air system for your home through the Studemeyer HVAC Flex rebates. Flex your way to savings with a new Bryant Evolution Extreme High Efficiency Heat Pump and Air Conditioner and get a free air purifier, a $2,000 value. Financing options available, including 12 months, same as cash. Don't miss this chance to flex your way to savings this fall. Go to StudenmeyerHeating.com to learn how. That's StudenmeyerHeating.com.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Not on my watch, our military service members say, as they volunteer to serve. Not on my watch, they say, as they leave their families behind to keep the rest of ours safe. As they move out, stand firm, and take fire. So not on our watch, we say, to the severely ill or injured veterans who can't get the care they deserve, the therapists they need to walk again, the treatment they need to talk again, the lifetime of day-to-day help they need to live full and independent lives. When there's no more government funding, or a nursing home seems like the only option, or everyone says there's no hope for recovery, we won't leave one warrior behind. Not on our watch. Find out how you can do your part at findwwp.org.
Fox Sports Radio 1400. Online at foxsportsradio1400.com. On your phone with the iHeartRadio app and on hundreds of devices like Alexa, Google Home, Xbox, and Sonos. An iHeartRadio station.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Final segment of the show on a Tuesday afternoon. Again, Lawton Swan, thank you for being a part of the program. The Under the Bus edition. Thank you, Brett Bielema. All right, so bowl projections, I'll get to in a minute, but I do have a text message or a message that came through Twitter from Corey. He says, Swanee, I keep seeing everyone saying that Clemson is poised for a breakthrough game on offense. You know what I want? I want overall consistency. What that means to me is proper and correct blocking, reduction of mental errors, reduction of penalties, and the receivers and quarterbacks on the same page. I'm not looking for a 60-point game, although that would be great. He said, I want the offense to move the ball, get first downs, stop shooting themselves in the foot with stupid errors. Sustaining drives will fix a lot of the issues, especially with the lackluster play calling. And I agree with Corey, and this is why I feel like part of the issue that Clemson has is compounded by the issues that Clemson has. Almost trying to be too perfect, almost trying not to make a mistake, as we've talked about here on the program. And because you're trying to be perfect and you're trying not to make a mistake, what do? You constantly make them. Relax. Like, this feels like a team that needs a therapist. They need somebody to talk to. They're like Tony Soprano. They need to get on the couch. They need to have a conversation with somebody to figure out their issues. It's amazing to me that a team that can be as incredibly talented and gifted as this Clemson Tiger team could be is as lackluster offensively as it is. I mean, it's atrocious and it's hard to watch. And they are so talented. Like I truly struggle to believe it's a lack of talent. I think it's a lack of confidence, maybe even some prep work. There's been speculation that maybe DJ didn't pour in the way he was supposed to during the offseason to his wide receivers. And if that is the case, if those things pan out and turn out to be true, then, then obviously it's a leadership thing for the Tigers, but I don't think in the respect of Dabo Swinney as much as accountability from the individual player. Now, as for bowl games, we mentioned this a little bit earlier. Taking a look at it right now, the projections, and I'm just using Stuart Mandel's projections. By the way, the fact that Stuart Mandel and Rich Eisen are two different people, mind-blowing. They look like the same person to me. But has anybody ever seen these two guys in the same place at the same time? It's a fair question. So Clemson currently not projected to make a New Year's Six bowl, according to Stuart Mandel. He's got Wake Forest winning the Atlantic Coast Conference, going to the Peach Bowl on December the 30th, playing Michigan State. He's got the Cotton Bowl on December 31st with number 2 Oklahoma in the college football playoff versus number 3 Cincinnati. Then also in the Orange Bowl on December 31st, they've got number 1 Georgia taking on number 4 Ohio State. So your college football playoff, Georgia 1, Oklahoma 2 versus Cincinnati 3. And then Ohio State and Georgia is that other matchup with the Buckeyes being 4th. The Fiesta Bowl will feature Michigan versus Kentucky from the SEC. The Rose Bowl will be Penn State versus Utah. And then the Sugar Bowl, Alabama and Oklahoma State out of the Big 12. As for the remaining bowl games, and this is where I think you'll get slightly excited if you're a Tiger fan, they do have Clemson in a fairly significant bowl game, the Gator Bowl, December 31st, taking on the Florida Gators in Jacksonville. Now that, to me, if you are a Clemson Tiger fan, is exciting because if that's where you get to go, you're facing the Florida Gators, a team we have talked about for years about being a team you'd like to see Clemson play. Obviously, I'd prefer a home and home, but give you the neutral site game. And I think most of us would sign up for it and take it. By the way, for our fine-feathered friends peeking over the fence and hanging out with us, South Carolina, according to this, not making a bowl in year one. I did not see the Gamecocks in the list. I did see the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers in the Birmingham Bowl against SMU. That is, again, according to Stuart Mandel with The Athletic. By the way, some other big name programs entering bowl games or big bowl matchups, the Outback Bowl, Texas A&M. Ooh, how you feeling, A&M? A little disappointed that you wrote that big check. Speaking of big checks to Jimbo Fisher, man, did y'all hear Fisher on, I guess that was Monday? Woo! We'll play. I'll tell you what, we don't have time to squeeze in the Jimbo take today, but we'll try to get to the Jimbo Fisher comments about the LSU job. We'll try to play those here on the program tomorrow for you. That was something else to listen to. But yeah, there's another major program out there that had high aspirations coming into the season, finishing up in the Outback Bowl on January 1st, according to Stuart Mandel. Iowa in the Citrus Bowl taking on Ole Miss, and Iowa State in the Texas Bowl taking on Arkansas. So that's a quick look at some of those other games out there around the country, the projections of the bowl games, if you will. If you're just interested, the Gasparilla Bowl expected to have Virginia Tech and UAB squaring off in Tampa. You know, you can never update your bowls without giving a good old-fashioned Gasparilla Bowl update. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you for being a part of what we do each and every day. Thank you for sharing our work. If you want to join us, you can. ClemsonSportsTalk.com. It would mean the world to us to have you become a premium subscriber. We'll be back tomorrow.
Clemson Sports Talk with
always,
Lawton
y'all take care now.
On Columbia's
And
home
go
for
Tigers.
sports. Fox Sports Radio 1400. Now, Columbia's most dependable traffic. Sponsored by Pope Davis Tire and Automotive. Home of the best tire prices in Columbia. Guaranteed. Fox Sports Radio 1400 traffic.
Look out for a wreck on Broad River at Briargate. We also have an accident on George Rogers Boulevard at Andrews Road. If you're stuck, use the 103.5 FM WVOC traffic tip line 343-1055.
This report is sponsored by the NHL on TNT. The NHL is on TNT. Tomorrow night, starting at 7 Eastern, the Boston Bruins take on the Philadelphia Flyers, followed by the St. Louis Blues versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Watch NHL on TNT every Wednesday and follow Bleacher Report Open Ice for more action.
Radio advertising can connect your business with holiday shoppers wherever they go. Use iHeart Ad Builder to create an affordable custom radio ad right on your phone. Just click, listen, approve, then hear it on the radio. Create your customized ad today at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Lawton Swan here. And I know in sports, we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute